What is good, everybody? It is your boy Champagne Chico, and we're back with Rebuild Mondays. And this week, I think I'm going to be building the Saints. It was a comment that I saw this week or this weekend, and I was interested because their salary is horrible to deal with right now. And at this point, the offense is not performing well enough for them to win games. Their defense, of course, has Marshawn Lattimore and Cameron Jordan on it. They thought Tyrann Mathieu was going to do something this whole season, and he ended up just kind of being there at free safety. You didn't hear much about him. It's just a situation where it's difficult to manage, but I'm interested to see what I can do with the Saints and how long it'll take to make them better. So yeah, I've always liked the Saints defense. I've always liked the Saints, especially when Sean Payton was coaching. It's been a weird couple years since he's retired, or now unretired, and went to the Broncos. But before we get into it, I'm gonna have to ask you to go down there and like and subscribe for me. Helps me get these videos out, helps me make more of these rebuilds. Let me know who you want me to rebuild. I'm more than happy to adhere to your comments and just rebuild any teams that you guys want me to rebuild, whether that's the Seahawks without it being the actual franchise series or the Steelers even. Just let me know. But we are going to get into it, and we're going to be firing Dennis Allen. He's been solid, but we definitely have to get a new coach. All right, and we are going to be bringing in Champagne Chico as the head coach. We're simming to the Super Bowl. Thankfully, Madden actually made it to Super Bowl now. And in the 2022 recap, the Chiefs do end up winning the Super Bowl, just like in real life. Frank Clark winning Super Bowl MVP. That's a different one. The same yearly awards as it's been. Luckily, Madden actually has it to the Super Bowl now, so it's not just a random thing. But now, I'm not 100% sure. Do the Saints have their pick? Because I could have sworn that they traded it to the Eagles. Yes, so I was correct. The Saints do not have their first round pick this year, which is very unfortunate for them. But surprisingly, their cap is not badly managed right now. It's just who they end up actually re-signing. People like Michael Thomas that you have to consider, Jarvis Landry. I mean, Marcus Davenport is probably somebody that they'll want to keep. Jawan Johnson had a pretty good season at tight end. It's really something that you have to think about, especially Andy Dalton. It seems like they like him for some reason. He's 35. I wouldn't want to keep him. I'm definitely not keeping him in this. But you still have a bunch of players on the roster. You have 61 mil. You have a chance to go after some big players in free agency if they actually want to go to the Saints. Michael Thomas is 30. And I think he's already regressing, if I'm not mistaken, which makes it an easier decision to not bring him back. And he's already regressing right now, just simming the 2 weeks that we've simmed. Jarvis Landry is also 30. It's just a lot of aging people. I think the only two people that I would want to bring back is Marcus Davenport and Jawan Johnson. Because these other players, I like Rashid Shaheed. He's good. PJ Williams was solid. Not the best, but he was solid. Callaway was pretty good for them too. It's just a matter of in Madden, and am I really going to be paying Marquez Callaway? Oh, well, it's not that bad. It's not a bad contract. I think those are really the three that I'm going to be focusing on. Definitely Marcus Davenport. Jawan Johnson's a solid tight end for right now as we look for another one maybe in the future. It's hard to come by tight ends in franchise. But I'm not going to re-sign these two wide receivers. I think we definitely blow it up in that aspect. I think they need a full new wide receiver room, whether that is having mediocre wide receivers right now, or depending on people like Marcus Callaway to kind of develop in maybe a wide receiver one spot. But I'm definitely not re-signing Jarvis Landry for the money that he wants, and definitely not Michael Thomas because he doesn't really deserve it. He hasn't been playing. He's been injury prone these past seasons, and it doesn't help you in any sort of matter. So I think Marcus Davenport is definitely one that we would want to keep. His interest level is a bit high. I would want to do a neutral one just because that 0.8 might make the difference, but it would be good to keep him until he's 29. I like this player-friendly contract. It's not horrible. Hopefully he accepts it, and oh, he's going to free agency. Jawan Johnson is not that interested in coming back, which doesn't really help us much. I'm going to give him a player-friendly contract too. I just hope that he accepts it. All right, that's 2 players going to free agency. Can't really do much about it. I might just sign these guys to little small deals. Maybe. If they'll take it. All right, Rashid Shaheed is on the move. Let's try to keep our punter. Let's go ahead and try to get at least one signing today. And that's not going to happen. So we are 0 for 4 right now. I'm not re-signing the wide receivers. I don't know if I want to keep Andy Dalton at all. Marcus Callaway is definitely somebody that I think they'll want to keep for the future. A 3-year contract, 2.2 and $700K bonus. All right, so we keep Marcus Callaway. He's a solid wide receiver. He could develop. It just depends on how much he gets the ball. That's it with that one. We don't have a first-round pick, which is definitely something that we have to consider. And consider in terms of if we're going to pack up a few players in order to move up in the draft. We have Jameis Winston at quarterback. We still have Alvin Kamara. I don't think he's going to get arrested in the game. You have Chris Olave, who you need to develop. So I think these upcoming years is really going to be all about Chris Olave getting... These upcoming years are going to be all about Chris Olave getting his reps and just being able to get him to be a superstar in that aspect. You have Smith, Alvin Kamara. You have somebody like Marshawn Lattimore, who's 27, right? Love Marshawn Lattimore. He's 27, though. I think if we see any sign of him regressing, which he hasn't yet, it's definitely going to be something to consider in terms of if we're going to move him or not. Tyrann Mathieu, 31. He's 31. He's also 5'9", which isn't great in the game, but he's 31. That's something else to consider for sure. Marcus May, who you signed from the Jets last season, if I'm not mistaken, he's 30 though. So it's just like you have a great backfield in a way. It's not bad, but they're also aging. Marshawn Lattimore, I wouldn't trade until I really need to. It would be great to have him for the time being. Tyrann Mathieu, I feel like any sign of regression is when we'll trade him. Like maybe this next season when we're at the midseason mark, we'll just kind of pack him up. Marcus May, I'm not a big fan of keeping him either. But it just can't be a situation that we're empty at safeties. So I was not able to get really much from the players that I have in terms of trade value. I'm not just going to try to trade them straight up for something. And Tyrann Mathieu wasn't getting me a first-round pick. I mean, I'm not surprised because of his age. I'm not trying to trade Marshawn Lattimore yet. Marcus May is a maybe. I haven't tried with him. But this free agency is kind of just not really dependable. The only one that I would really want is possibly Josh Allen. CJ Gardner-Johnson, they traded him last season. He's 25. I don't see the likelihood of him coming back to the Saints, but it's definitely something to consider. So usually I'll be kind of having a mix of both long-term deals and short-term ones. But since we already have aging players, we don't really need to be signing people to one-year deals. We need the young players to develop. So I'm trying to get Orlando Brown and Josh Allen. We still have a lot of cap space left, and I'm assuming that I'm going to be able to trade some of our higher salary players on the team. So I'm trying to build up the linebackers. I know at left outside we don't have much, so Josh Allen would be a great addition to that left outside linebacker position. And Trevor Penning, he just doesn't seem like he's developing much. I mean, he is a star, we could move Orlando Brown to maybe left guard or even Trevor Penning to left guard. But Orlando Brown has always seemed to have great progression in not only Madden, but I think he could be better in real life too. So these are really the only two that I'm trying to go after, really. Everybody else, it's either too much money, too old, or they're not interested. I've tried with many of these players that have low interest in us, and they just don't want to come to our team. Like, we have no competition. I try to give them a full player-friendly or very player-friendly contract, and they don't want to come. So I don't blame them right now because we're not built up as a team. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if these players end up accepting. Josh Allen still hasn't accepted, but we do not get Orlando Brown. That would have been a little confusing for the team, but he does go to the Jets. We still have Josh Allen, still his top pick. So I think the only player that we're going to be able to get this offseason is Josh Allen. So Josh Allen is added to the team. I like that addition. Goes well with Demario Davis on that side. And it helps us a lot in that aspect. We still have $39 million. I'm kind of just thinking of sticking there and trying to get some draft picks out of the players that we have. It's just, who are we going to be trading in order to get those draft picks is a real question. Okay, well, I came to the realization as I was trying to make trades that Cameron Jordan's gone. And I was going to keep the team that I kind of had right now until the midseason mark. But there's no point of doing that and being a middle-of-the-line team and just wasting a year. We have our pick next year. And I kind of just want to offload salary. I definitely want to offload salary. Tyrann Mathieu is almost guaranteed with the Madden system to regress this year because he's 31. He is a superstar, but he's 31. So I'm not counting on him to stay at it was a 91, now it's an 89. Marcus May is also on the move out. I don't know why they signed him. I understand that he had a great time at the Jets, but he is old, and the likelihood of him getting any better is very slim. I wanted to get a first-round pick in this draft, and also I wanted to get more than just a second-round pick this year. I wanted to get their second-round pick next year too, but they were being very stingy with it. So I had to pack up my second-round pick this year. We move up 8 spots in the second round, so it's basically like having a late first with the pick that we got from the Texans. So it's definitely an interesting trade. It's definitely a trade of just like blowing it up and seeing how it goes, because that's kind of where we're at right now. You have really only one talent that you want to develop a lot, and that's Chris Olave. You have Marshawn Lattimore, who was solid. You can keep him for a little bit because I don't think he's going to regress much in the coming years. Alvin Kamara in the game is not going anywhere. He's not going to jail, so he's going to be there for a little minute. Until I see those players regress, they're not going to be traded. Tyrann Mathieu, I just don't trust not regressing this next season and then losing value, like almost not being able to get a first round out of it. So we get the Texans first in terms of their second first and their second round pick. We unload some salary that we're not going to be looking forward to dealing with, and that's not our issue now. So now that we have a first round pick, specifically the 12th pick, we can go ahead and look at what there is. I could go for a quarterback in this draft, but I don't think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Unless CJ Stroud drops to the 12th pick, I will definitely get CJ Stroud, and I think that is the most ideal situation for the Saints. He has been falling down mock drafts, probably because he had a lot of talent at Ohio State, and he might just not be as good as what it seems. But getting him would definitely help a lot. It just depends on how the draft goes. For some reason, they have Myles Murphy going first, Bryce Young going second, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson. I mean, it's a lot of defensive players and some wide receivers. I would hope that CJ Stroud drops to us. That would be fantastic. But if he doesn't, then we do have some other options, like a tight end like Michael Maher. He would be a great addition to the team. We could get some cornerbacks like Devin Witherspoon and Joey Porter Jr. It really just depends. It really just does depend. We could have gone for a late first round pick and kind of just gotten Alvin Kamara's second, I would say. But I wasn't too sure about that. Brian Branch, I'm just kind of hoping that he drops to the second round where we're at. We're at 34, so it's the second pick of the second round. But I do hope that CJ Stroud does drop to where we're at, meaning the Texans pick. Don't know why they would be picking 2 quarterbacks, but Madden. So we do have a first, a second, a third, and I think we have a pick in every round of the draft. So we can go ahead and get into it. I'm hoping that a QB falls to us. If they don't, then we can count on the next draft to do so. So I'm just going to skip ahead. I'm not going to watch one by one. I'm just hoping that he does drop to us and we're able to get a QB in this draft and just develop him with Chris Olave. But Paris Johnson gets picked right before us. Hopefully CJ Stroud is here. And he is. And so is Will Levis. Interesting. But I do like CJ Stroud going to the Saints. I think the Saints could possibly trade into the first round. I know that my trade doesn't seem too realistic, but it might be one that they need to do. They might be a little too stubborn to do so as a franchise. But CJ Stroud has A play action, A short, A medium, A deep. B break sack, B under pressure, B throw on the run, B awareness. I just think that he's the most ideal situation for New Orleans to just start a new chapter. Also pairing him up with another Ohio State player or a former Ohio State player. CJ Stroud is definitely going to be a good addition to the team. 90 throw power, 83 acceleration, 80 speed, and 78 agility with hidden development. I think he's going to be great for us right now. And he's definitely going to be a big factor in terms of our future, and hopefully he just develops well. I think I'm going to add to the linebackers and basically finish it off on the right outside linebacker position. I know there is a solid right outside linebacker that we have, but Nolan Smith is a rookie, of course, and I think he can develop well in the Saints defense. I was looking at cornerback like Keely Ringo and all that stuff. I'm just not too confident in Keely Ringo developing for us. I know that we have Marshawn Lattimore to pair alongside him, but having linebackers helps a lot. He does look really solid in terms of physicals. His skills don't show as well just because we didn't really scout linebackers that much. So I'm going to go ahead and get him. There are no safeties at this position right now, as he does have hidden development, 89 speed, 92 acceleration, and 86 jumping. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great for us. Nolan Smith is added to the Saints, but I wasn't able to find any safeties that were worth taking at the position that we were at in the second round. So I'm kind of just hoping that I find some in the third round. I think I'm going to be going with strong safety in the third round. Jordan Battle did drop to the third round. I wasn't going to take him in the second. I don't think it was worth it, but he does seem to fit our situation. He had a pretty good pro day. I just hope that he develops in our defense. That's really all I hope for. But Jordan Battle does have normal development. I wasn't expecting him to have hidden. 89 acceleration, 88 speed, 85 jumping, 86 agility. I just think with the Saints defensive players that they get from college can develop well, like Jordan Battle maybe. But it really just depends on how he reacts to it. And I think at this position, I'm going to be taking Blue Kelly. He's dropped to the fourth round. He's projected to go second to third. I have liked him. I just didn't see the reason of spending a valuable pick on him. But since he has dropped to the fourth round, there's not much other options. He does look solid. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 87 change of direction, 86 jumping, and 87 agility. Man-to-man, 6 foot, 193 out of Stanford. Could develop well alongside Marshawn Lattimore. I just hope that these defensive players end up developing. And I think in the fifth round, we're going to take a free safety. Maybe he does develop alongside Jordan Battle. He doesn't look the greatest in coverage, though. So I'm kind of taking a risk on him. He is normal development. He looks pretty solid, but it is the fifth round, so I can't really do much at this position. And I'm kind of just trying to fill in spots right now. And of course, the The regular of the rebuilds is taking a kicker in the 7th round. He's done me well, so I don't see why not right now. But Jake Moody in the 7th round, there's no other positions. There's really no other positions, but we take Jake Moody and hope that he develops well in the Saints offense or special teams, to be specific. And at the start of a brand new season for the Saints, it looks empty. It does look empty right now. The line looks solid for CJ Stroud. He is a 73 overall, so we're just hoping that he gets a good development trait and just ends up developing alongside Chris Olave. Hardy's here. Traquan Smith is here. Alvin Kamara is also here. I think he's put in a good situation right now. In terms of our defense, not the best safeties in the world. Not the best in the world, but we don't, for the first time, the Saints just don't really have a good defense right now. But I think we're going to have to build it up as time goes. We did get another hidden development player, but with Cameron Jordan retiring, it didn't help us much. And we're kind of just relying on this season not to be the greatest so we can really get a good pick in the next draft and be able to get somebody generational, possibly, most likely on the defensive end, since we now have a QB in CJ Stroud. And at the mid-season mark, we are 2-5. It's kind of what we expected. We weren't expecting to be good. We can take a look at the roster and see what has happened on the team. CJ Stroud is only a star. He could develop at any point, so that's not an issue right now, but he did go up to a 75 after being a 73. Nolan Smith has taken over the right outside linebacker role. I'm glad that he has, so he can develop more. Hickman has not done anything. Jordan Battle went up 1 overall. Debo is CB2 right now. But we weren't expecting the season to be good. We can look at the stats just to see what's going on. I feel like we know what's going on. It's mostly the defense. 8th in offensive yards, so it's not bad at all on the offensive side, but 31st in defensive yards. We kind of expected it. 1,900 yards, 19 TDs, and 7 interceptions for CJ Stroud. That is a pretty solid rookie season coming from him. Alvin Kamara has 476 yards and 3 TDs. Also not that bad. That's somebody that we definitely have to consider on if we're going to re-sign him or not. Chris Olave has 555 yards and 4 TDs, while Traquan Smith has 500 yards and 7 TDs. Our tight end is doing pretty good with 3 TDs. Not looking for him to stay much longer, but our right outside linebacker has the most tackles. Watts has 6 TFLs. Not a lot of people that are big names like Josh Allen have a lot of TFLs, but he does have 3. Demario Davis has 2, and Marshawn Lattimore has 2. Sacks, Josh Allen has the most with 3 of them. Interceptions, Jordan Battle has 2 interceptions. Very surprising. 1 by Marshawn and 1 by our rookie Nolan Smith. It's solid. It's solid so far. I wasn't expecting us to be competitive. I'm kind of just trying to blow it up right now, get a good pick in the next draft and deal with that. We can take a look at the mock draft before we sim to the end of the season and see what we're fighting for. A left end, once again, basically to replace Cameron Jordan. Could happen. We could even get the right outside linebacker that's projected to go first, if that is the first overall prospect. We can just look at the prospects real quick. It is a right tackle. That's the first one. We don't need that, so it would definitely be the right outside linebacker, if anything. We'll take a look at who is up for a re-signing this season. I don't know if this is the season that Alvin Kamara is. No. Okay, so Alvin Kamara is not up for re-signing this season. We do have 73 mil in cap. Traquan Smith, I did want to see what I can get out of him. Will Lutz, we already got your replacement. You are 29, but you can go to another team. Cesar Ruiz, right guard, might be somebody that we try to re-sign in free agency. He only went to 1-year deal at 24, which is interesting. Armon Watts has been having a good season. It's probably because of his contract here, and once we give him a deal, he's just not going to play well. But all of these players are just not worth re-signing right now in terms of making sure that they stay on the team or trade value, except for probably Traquan Smith. I don't really know what I can get out of him, but I don't think I can get much. I'm not really going to waste time with that. But other than that, we could just sim to the end of the season and see how we finish it off. All right, well, 5-12. We kind of expected it. We definitely expected it. Don't know why I said kind of. We were not expecting to be a competitive team. I'm glad that we were at the bottom of the division. CJ Stroud has developed a little bit. Chris Olave has developed a bit. Alvin Kamara is kind of regressing, so that's something to consider for the offseason. Linebackers look good. I mean, Josh Allen just isn't really developing, probably because our defense sucks. So I think in this draft is definitely going to be a situation of drafting for the defense right now. Alvin Kamara maybe has like 1 year left, I'm pretty sure, but we can go ahead and sim to see who wins the Super Bowl and what pick we have with the mock draft. All right, and at the end of season 1 of the rebuild, the Green Bay Packers beat the Cincinnati Bengals and Aaron Jones wins Super Bowl MVP. CJ Stroud won Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's pretty good. That's a good sign because he may have gotten a development trait for winning that. I'm going to go ahead and check right now and see if anything changed for him based off of winning that. He did get upgrades, so his morale is up. He's getting upgrades. I'm assuming that he's going to be our QB of the future for sure. I'm going to go ahead and sim to this next week in order to be able to look at these college players before we get into signing anybody. All right, we have 112 million in cap, and we are the 3rd pick. They do have us taking the left end that I was looking at before. He looks good, but I'm really interested in this Dom Webb. We do have a right outside linebacker already, but I'm not too crazy about this Christopher Claxton guy. He could be good. I think it just depends on his pro day and things like that. He has A, finesse moves, and B, tackle. He is a speed rusher, so he's not going to be hitting too hard. Everything else that we would need to see is not available right now, so that doesn't help us. But his rank has dropped 10 over the season. Some things to consider right now. Definitely some things to consider right now. We can look at this guy real quick, a left end. We need anybody on the defensive line. His physicals don't look like they'll be great. A, tackle, A, power moves, B, awareness, B, play recognition. Another thing to consider, we don't have a tight end right now at all. I don't think we're going to go with quarterback. I'm just going to stick with CJ Stroud unless he just starts to not develop at all and not help the team at all. That's going to be something to consider. But we have 112 mil to sign whoever right now. And we could re-sign some of these players like our right guard. And I don't think I'm going to be signing Carl Granderson. If I'm going with the right end in the draft, I don't think there's a point of re-signing him. It will just be a space on the field that I'm spending money on that I don't need to be spending money on, especially 10.4 mil on him. Hardy is down to normal development. Traquan Smith is somebody that I'm considering. It's definitely somebody that I'm considering. I think the only people that I'm really thinking about, though, is maybe Armin Watts, just to have a defensive tackle and not have to worry about it unless I find one in the draft. Don't have to re-sign Will Lutz. We have a kicker now. Cesar Ruiz is definitely somebody that I'm going to go after first. Hopefully he ends up re-signing. There's not much of a difference between us doing a player-friendly and a neutral or a very player-friendly, which is kind of surprising. But I'm going to do this, and hopefully he accepts it. I'm excited to sign such a great offer and stay with the team. So we keep our right guard for right now. He does still have star development, so he could develop. I think out of these two, I might go with Traquan Smith. We don't have that height player. Deontay Hardy is kind of regressing. Not regressing, but just not developing. Traquan Smith can fit in the system, but I'm not going to give him something too insane. Maybe a 3-year deal since he's going to be 31 by the time the deal's done. I would like to play for a new team next year. Okay, well, that's out of question now. I'll give him a 4-year deal just to make it easy. I think free agency will be better for me in the long run. Okay, well, he's not going to get much better than what we tried to give him. So we'll try to get him back in free agency. So I think now we have 106 mil in cap to go into free agency and possibly get a better team overall before going into the draft. And we just have to see who we end up being able to sign. All right. And now in the first day of free agency, we are going after Nick Bosa. Now, I know it possibly isn't the most realistic thing in the world, but I think if the Saints have the money by this time like we have been able to get, they will try to go after Nick Bosa. So we're giving our fair shot at him. T. Higgins to go alongside Chris Olave would help Chris Olave a lot in terms of load management. To Tremont Edmonds at middle linebacker. Demario Davis is only getting older, and I'm thinking about changing the scheme anyway, so it would have 2 middle linebackers, and we do not have another middle linebacker right now. I mean, I think Demario Davis actually retired, so that doesn't help us much because it did jump up like 20 mil in the cap right whenever we went into this offseason. Ed Oliver is somebody that I'm trying to get. We have no defensive tackles right now. So we're definitely trying to get Ed Oliver. He seems to develop well in franchise. And Noah Fant at tight end were his only offer right now. So I try to go after people that had some interest in us. Tremont Edmonds is the only one that I really try to force it. So yeah, we can just see right now who ends up signing with us, and hopefully it is all of them. We're competing with more teams now. We did get Nick Bosa, T. Higgins, Ed Oliver, and Noah Fant. That just added a lot to our team. Tremont Edmonds is still considering. If he doesn't end up coming, then I think I can live with it. Now I'm thinking about possibly signing some 1-year deals at cornerback because I don't see a lot of cornerbacks in this draft. And also strong safety would be a great thought to have since Jordan Battle is just not really doing much right now. 1 years though, I'm not too crazy just because Jordan Battle has been developing. I'm not crazy about just replacing him for a 1-year deal. I do think that I'm just going to stick with Tremont Edmonds being the last one that I try to get. Our cap space is kind of limited right now, and I want to be able to have some for next season, even if there are contracts expiring. So just waiting on Tremont Edmonds. Hopefully he does accept this offer, and he does. So we have a full new defense basically in terms of the important positions, right ends, middle linebacker, and defensive tackles. So that definitely makes a difference in terms of what we're going to end up drafting in the draft. We do have a tight end now. We don't have to worry about our other tight end that we were trying to get back. Noah Fant, I think, can develop under CJ Stroud passing it to him, and T. Higgins is just a great addition always. So I like what we added to the team this offseason. You can think that it's not going to be too realistic, but I definitely could see the Saints making a hard push for a lot of players in one of these off seasons if they have enough money to. So I think we definitely had a lot of great additions. I have to see when Alvin Kamara's contract is up, because I don't think that they would be looking to re-sign him whenever his contract is up. But it's not up for another 2 years. So his cap hit is going to be 25 mil in 2025, I think. So that's going to hurt us a lot. Right end is definitely a position of need. I think I'm going to stick with that right end that they have us taking. Marshawn Lattimore dropped to a star development. That's not great. That is not great for us right now. I'm looking for the cornerbacks to develop. Free safety is a position that we need to be looking for in possibly the second round if we have our second round pick. But yeah, I think we can sim to the draft and hope that we're able to get some good prospects out of this draft. We are packing up a cornerback that is aging right now and a 4th round pick for our second back, basically, because we're trading him to the Texans. They wanted a cornerback. We gave them what they wanted. We have a bunch of younger cornerbacks that need to develop, and he was taking over the snaps that they would be getting. So now we have basically a full draft. I wasn't thinking that fourth and after was going to be much of a pivotal thing for our team. So we can go ahead and get into the draft with our first, second, and third pick. The Seahawks are the first on the board. I am assuming that they are going to go with that right outside linebacker. They probably did. I accidentally simmed to my own user pick. So we are going to take a look and see if the player that we're looking for is still here, and he is. Christopher Claxton did pretty well in terms of his physicals and pro day. He did show up. I'm hoping that he ends up showing up for us. He is not a power rusher, so I'm not expecting his power moves to be high. His finesse moves are an A. I think it's going to be a great addition. I'm moving him to right end just so, one, his handedness is going to be better for him, and two, Nick Bosa's already at left end. So we're going to go ahead and get Christopher Claxton, and he does have hidden development, so I'm excited for that. 88 acceleration, 81 speed, 84 strength, and 78 agility. 266 and 6'2" out of LSU. I like it a lot. We have our second round pick, meaning we are the third pick in the second round, so hopefully we can find a free safety at that position. And at this position, I like this free safety that I'm looking at right now. He's a hybrid, which we haven't had great experience with, but he did do pretty well in terms of physicals. He has pretty good stats for what we can see. The other free safeties that are actually trying to go ahead of him have C awareness, and he has A awareness, and he has pretty solid stats overall. I like him. I don't like any of the other prospects enough to just get him in front of him, and I'm afraid that he will probably get picked before our third round pick, so we're gonna go ahead and get him. He does have hidden development. He is 5'9", 220 out of UCF, 89 speed, 91 agility, 90 acceleration, and 86 change of direction. I'm excited for him. I think he's gonna be a great addition to our team right now. Now we have to look at what to do with the rest of our defense, and I think with our last pick of significance in this draft is gonna be Marquise Brown, a pass protector out of Notre Dame. He's 6'5", 315. He had pretty good physicals. He has decent stats for it being the third round. I think he's going to be pretty good in terms of pass blocking. That's what his archetype is, so I'm assuming that he's going to be pretty good. I think I'm going to move him to the left side just because our left guard is struggling a little more than our right guard, and we just re-signed our right guard for a couple more years. So Marquise Brown is going to be coming to the team, and he does have hidden development, so we had a pretty great draft this season, and I think that I'm just going to sim past the rest. There's really not a lot left in this draft to be spending time on. All right, and at the start of season 2 of the rebuild, CJ Stroud is an 80 overall. T. Higgins took over the wide receiver run role. I think that's going to help Chris Olave with his routes and just not having to be doubled almost every play. Alvin Kamara is still on the team. The CPU drafted a hidden development running back, so he could possibly take over for Alvin Kamara in the future. They do have Marquise Brown behind Pete. I think I'm going to just go ahead and move him into that starting role for right now. Our line looks pretty good. Our line does look pretty good. Noah Fant is our tight end of the future. Our defense, though, looks pretty good. We got a 76 overall in the second round. I had a feeling that he was going to be pretty good, and I'm glad that I did draft him. Hickman was not doing it. Gary hopefully picks up the slack. And they move Nick Bosa to right end, and Claxton is going to be starting at left end, so hopefully he gets his snaps and ends up being pretty good for us. Marshawn Lattimore also hopefully gets his superstar development back, but if not, we'll have to see if he starts regressing, and if he does, then he might have to be on the move. But we are going to sim to the mid-season point, and hopefully we're competitive this year. All right, we start off pretty good. We are 5-2 right now. It's a great way to start right now. I think the Bucs are 0-7. That's not good for them. We do have some players going into free agency, though. Our right outside linebacker that has been developing is on the free agency block. I think I might have to re-sign him before free agency. I think he would be a great right outside linebacker to keep for the time being. He's still 26, so I'm just going to try to go ahead and sign him right now. He would take up most of the rest of our money, so we really have much room to sign anybody this offseason. We have 8.3 mil. Drafting that right guard was definitely ideal since this left guard is getting into free agency. It's going to be a difficult decision. I think I might wait. To try to re-sign him. He does have re-sign interest, so I'm not too concerned about it. If not, then we possibly look for one in the draft. But we have to see everything that's going well right now. We are 5-2 at the moment. Third in offensive yards is really good for us right now, and 14th in defensive isn't bad. It's not bad. We have a couple rookies on the defense. 2,000 yards, 18 TDs, and 5 interceptions for CJ Stroud. Alvin Kamara, 580 yards and 5 TDs is not bad at all. CJ Stroud has 2 rushing TDs. Receiving, T. Higgins is right there with Chris Olave in the 500-yard mark. He has 4 TDs, though, and Chris Olave has 3. Marquez Callaway has 6 TDs, and Noah Fant has 4. Overall, pretty good right now. Defense, Tremont Edmonds is the leading tackler on the team. TFL's Ed Oliver, Nick Bosa both have 4, and Josh Allen has 2, and Claxton has 2 as well. Sacks, Nick Bosa, of course, has the most sacks, 7.5 sacks. Josh Allen has 4.5, Ed Oliver has 3, and Claxton has 2.5. So that is pretty good coming from our defensive line right now. Adebo has 2 interceptions. Josh Allen has 1, and Tremont Edmonds has 1, and so does Jordan Battle. So overall, we're doing pretty good right now. We'll take a look at the team to see if anybody got some development traits, like Gary or really anybody. So right now, CJ Stroud is still a star. Alvin Kamara is still a superstar. Overall, the offense kind of looks the same. They moved Brown back to the right guard position. I think I'm just going to change his position in the offseason. On the defensive side, though, Gary is star development, but he can always develop at any point. Claxton still hasn't gotten his development trait yet. Something to be on the lookout for. Overall, our team looks pretty good. I think we can finish off the season well. We just have to hope that they do end up finishing off the season well. We can make a push in the playoffs. And at the end of the season, we do win the division by a tiebreaker against the Panthers. 10-7. Not bad at all. The roster, though. Did anybody get any upgrades after the midseason mark? CJ Stroud is now an 85 overall with morale. Our wide receivers look good. Overall, the offense looks good. Claxton is also a star, but this playoffs can really be the telltale for if Gary or Claxton get higher development traits. But overall, the defense looks good, as it did at the midseason mark. Lattimore actually went up in overall, and Jordan Battle is slowly getting up there. So I might not draft a strong safety unless it's clear that he is much better than Jordan Battle. I think Jordan Battle can develop in our defensive scheme. But now we can take a look at the stats before we get into the playoff game. I'm assuming the offense is definitely still doing the same. Oh, they're not. 18th in offensive yards is not that great. 7th in defensive, though. I'm glad the defense picked it up, but kind of disappointed in the offense. 4,300 yards, 34 TDs, and 11 interceptions is not bad from CJ Stroud in his second year. Alvin Kamara almost had 1,300 yards rushing, and he had 16 TDs. Patterson had 5 TDs as a rookie. Receiving, Chris Olave did not quite get to 1,000, but T. Higgins had 1,300, 7 TDs. Chris Olave had 4 TDs. Noah Fant had 10 TDs and 800 yards. It seems like it was pretty well spread out on the passing side of the ball. Defense, though, they picked it up. Tremont Edmonds clearly took the tackle leader role. Nick Bosa had 14 TFLs. Josh Allen had 9. So did Ed Oliver. Claxton had 7. And Tremont Edmonds had 5. We had a lot of sacks. Wow. 16 sacks by Nick Bosa, 13 sacks by Josh Allen, 10.5 by Ed Oliver, and 8.5 by the rookie Claxton. What happened with the interceptions? Josh Allen was the leading interception player. Tremont Edmonds had 2. Adebo had 2. Marshawn Lattimore also had 2. It was pretty good. We did pretty good. Nick Bosa had an interception, surprisingly. Wow. Okay. I mean, our team looks pretty good. We're 10-7. We didn't finish off bad. We could have finished off better. We went 5-5 after the midseason mark, but now we have to face the Minnesota Vikings. We're not worried about the playoff bracket right now. We're just worried about this week, and hopefully we can push for a Super Bowl this season. All right, and to start off the game, the Saints do have a ball, and they go all the way downfield on a rushing play and go up 7-0 against the Vikings. The Vikings seem to be going downfield but end up punting it away. The Saints are going downfield. They are in field goal range, and they end up getting a touchdown by Marquez Callaway. The Vikings are now trying to push downfield but have to punt it once again. It seems like the New Orleans Saints defense is doing what they did after the midseason mark. And here we are getting another touchdown. It is 21-0. The Vikings are trying to push for a touchdown, and they do get their first one of the day. 21-7. We get a field goal, 24-7. And the Vikings get a huge passing play and knock it down to 10 with a minute left in the half. But it seems like the Saints are not giving up just yet. They want to get into field goal range and possibly get a touchdown. Trevor Penning gets a 10-yard penalty, and we end up just going with the field goal and making it 13. A two-score game. The Vikings could not do anything before the end of the half, and we're going back into field goal range, but we did not get a field goal to end off the half. The Vikings start off with the ball and return it for a good bit, but they have to punt it away as well. It seems like the New Orleans Saints defense is not holding back on the Vikings today, and we get a big touchdown and fail the 2-point conversion. Not the best from CJ Stroud, but we do end up forcing them to punt again. This defense is doing what they need to do, but we fumble the ball, and Harrison Smith gets the ball, and the Vikings get a field goal. We're keeping them from getting a touchdown right now. We really just have to finish off the game. Another touchdown. That could be it. That could definitely be the dagger. We're going to see if they get another one. They do get another touchdown. We're trying to chew clock as much as possible, but we get another touchdown, and it's just all but over right now. It's all over for the Vikings, and the Saints win 47-23 in the second year of the rebuild. We were assuming this was going to be a much longer rebuild, but we made some big acquisitions, and now we're pushing for the NFC Conference Championship. All right, and now we are in the divisional round against the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts is their quarterback right now. Another game that we're just trying to push for the NFC Conference Championship and then be one win away from the Super Bowl. But we have to win this one first. And now the Eagles start off with the ball, and hopefully the defense shows up today and doesn't allow them to get the touchdown while they go downfield and get the first touchdown of the day. But the Saints get the ball back. We're trying to push to tie the game right now, and we're going downfield, 3rd and 7, and we do get a touchdown on 3rd down with T. Higgins getting an 11-yard reception. The Philadelphia Eagles seem to be doing what they need to do against our defense, but we stop them. 4th and 4, a touchback by the Eagles. We're going downfield. We're trying to get our first lead of the game, and it seems like we are going to be getting a touchdown, 14-7. We punt it back to them. They get a big reception by Michael Thomas. The Eagles ended up signing Michael Thomas and are close to getting a touchdown, and they do get it by Michael Thomas getting his first touchdown of the day. We're getting some big passing plays right now, and we go downfield and get a touchdown right before the half. All we have to do is stop them, and we do make them punt it away. We could possibly get another touchdown or some more points on the board. We're at the 35 right now, but we did not end up getting some more points. The Saints, 4th and 4, and they were not able to get it, but Jake Moody gets the 56-yard field goal. A 10-point lead by the Saints right now. The Eagles are slowly going downfield and only get a field goal as well. It is still a touchdown game right now, and the Saints are barely getting first downs, but we get 4th and 3, and we have to punt it away to the Eagles. We have to be able to stop them on this drive, and it seems like we do get it. Oh, wait. They end up getting to the goal line and tie up the game. It is 24-24. The Saints are going downfield. We need a touchdown. We need a touchdown to really put our foot in the door. 31-24. We cannot. Oh, we made them turn over the ball. All we have to do is chew out the clock and get one more first down. and we are not able to get it, but we can get a field goal to make it a 10-point lead with a minute 40 left. The Eagles simply could not do anything against this Saints defense, and we stopped them completely. Oh, never mind. They converted on 4th down. They're going downfield and get a touchdown. They do not have enough timeouts in order to stop us, though, and that is the end of the game. A pretty intense one, 34-31 against the Philadelphia Eagles. We do move on to the NFC Conference Championship. I almost thought that we were about to lose the game off of an offside kick, but a big game. Now we go to the NFC Conference Championship and try to make the last push to the Super Bowl. And in the conference championship, we are facing the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is now a superstar X Factor. That's not good for us, but I think our defense is going to be able to show up against CeeDee Lamb. I don't think he has much wide receivers behind him, so our defense has to show up in order to make us get to the Super Bowl and possibly win one already in our second year of the rebuild. And the Saints do end up starting off with the ball. It is 3rd and 5. 4th and 3. The Dallas Cowboys defense starts off hot, while it looks like the offense might be on the same pace. 4th and 17, though, they have to go for the field goal, and it is only a 3-0 game. We have to be as competitive as they are right now, but we do not convert on 3rd down once again. And the Cowboys seem to be on fire today, and they're going downfield, possibly getting a touchdown. And they do get one from Dalton Schultz. A 10-0 game in the second quarter. We need the Saints to do something with it as they punt it away once again. But we make them punt it right back to us. We simply seem that we cannot do much right now against this Dallas Cowboys defense. 4th and 4 at the 47. We have to punt it once again. We need to show up in this next half with something. It would be great to start off hot with getting a touchdown before the half, but it seems like we really cannot do much at all. We cannot do much at all. They punt it away to us once again. We have a minute 30 to be able to do something with it. We have 2 big gains, but then we get sacked by Sam Williams, the right end, and we punt it away once again. This Cowboys defense is suffocating us right now, and we get an interception. 10 seconds left. I don't think we're going to be able to do much before the half, and we go into the half. The Dallas Cowboys get the ball first, and our defense needs to be able to stop them, but it doesn't seem like they're able to. 17-0 in the third quarter. They get a turnover and get the touchdown. 24-0 is not a good look for us right now. We need to be able to do something to answer back. We're slowly going downfield. We can't be at this pace, but we missed the field goal. Wow. Wow, we're getting absolutely obliterated by the Dallas Cowboys right now. This is not a good look for us. We definitely need to be looking in the draft for some better prospects at certain positions like cornerback, but 31-0 in the conference championship is not a good look at all. We punt it away once again. We're getting shut out in the NFC conference championship. We simply cannot do anything right now. And the last seconds on the clock, 31-0. The New Orleans Saints lose in the NFC conference championship. The good thing is that we do have our star players for an extended amount of time, so CJ Stroud could not do anything today. Well, an absolutely embarrassing way to go out, but they do end up moving on and winning the championship against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Ezekiel Elliott got Super Bowl MVP. Surprising, because now he's expected to take a pay cut this offseason. But nobody on our team won any awards, so we're not too concerned about those names on there. We have to see who we end up having to re-sign this offseason. I don't think we're going to be able to make much moves in free agency. We have to really focus on the draft and hope that a cornerback falls to us that can help us a lot. So we do have 14 players that are up for re-signing. We have 30 million cap. Somebody retired that I'm not sure who it was, but it does help us a bit because I did want to sign some players like Pete Werner, Paulson Adebo, I don't know. I simply do not know. But I think those are going to be the only two that I really try to re-sign. Sewell has not been developing at all. Our punter is somebody that I probably want to re-sign as well. Everybody else is not really much of a concern to me. Peyton Turner is not going to help us much. Pete has been regressing, so that's not going to help us much either. So we are going to try to get our main players back. Pete Warner says that free agency is going to do him better. That's not great for us. We're going to try to get a Debo back. Hopefully he accepts it. I'm happy to sign. Okay, so we get our cornerback back. Pete Warner, we have to definitely push for it in free agency. I think that's going to be one of the only signings that I make in free agency unless somebody wants to come for cheap. But Sanchez, a little 2-year deal. Hopefully he resigns. All right, so we keep our punter, we keep our kicker. The special teams is fine right now. Everybody else on here is not a concern of mine. 24 mil to go into free agency with, but we definitely have to focus on getting our right outside linebacker back. Or we can look at the mock draft to see if there's any options there. I think these three are going to be the only ones that I try to go after this offseason. We are trying to get another cornerback to kind of stiffen our quarterback room right now. Pete Warner, our right outside linebacker, he hasn't gotten any other offers, but I'm not risking it right now in terms of giving him less money. And he's already cheap enough, so I'm not going to be too concerned about that. And I know it's a fullback, but every position is really important in franchise at this point, and having a good player at every position really helps winning a championship in this game. So we're just going to go ahead and evaluate the offers, and all of them did end up agreeing to some sort of deal. We get the fullback and the right outside linebacker, but Teron Johnson goes to the Broncos for a year. That does not help us much. So I think I'm going to take a look at the cornerbacks and try to see if I can get somebody, but if not, we're just going to go into the draft and hope for a better outcome. We did end up signing Marcus Peters now, so now we are decent in the quarterback room, hoping that helps us out on the defensive side. If not, then we definitely have to figure something out in the next draft if we're not able to win a Super Bowl. But we're going to go ahead and go to the draft and look to maybe draft some linemen or a strong safety. All right, and now we are here in the draft. The Bucs have the first pick because they were the worst team in the league, but we are the 30th pick. We're just going to go ahead and sim to it and hope that one of the good left guards end up dropping to us. Middle linebacker is drafted right before us. We're going to go ahead and see if that left guard is still here. Kind of hoping he is, just because that's a position that we really need right now. This one does look pretty good. I think this was the one that I was looking at that was a bit after us. A awareness, A lead block, B run block. Doesn't look bad at all. He has A to C on everything else. He's a power blocker out of Clemson, and he is a left guard. I think I'm going to end up taking Maxwell Samuel. I don't think we have any other positions of need right now. Defensive tackle could probably be one in the scheme that we're in right now, but I think I can do that in the next round. Maxwell Samuel is normal development, so that's not a great look for us. Could develop, though. 86 strength and 79 acceleration. 21, 340, 6'4" out of Clemson. Hopefully he pans out. It was a late first. I'm not expecting to have a generational talent at that point. I'm considering taking this defensive tackle at a UCF. Victor Lowry. His physicals look pretty good in terms of how he performed in that combine and pro day. His stats look pretty good. We're just kind of looking for a defensive tackle too. Ed Oliver is the clear #1 option on defensive tackle side. Everything else that's here isn't really a position of need for us in terms of the top prospects. Like halfback, we still have Alvin Kamara. We could possibly wait another year just because I think this is his last year on the contract. And I'm willing to risk possibly losing him, but I would think about trading him if we're not performing well. But this defensive tackle is somebody that I'm thinking about. The strong safety looks pretty good too. Zaire Singleton. Ooh, poor speed is not a good look. Elite strength though at strong safety. I think he might as well have A hit power, but he has B to D. So I'm definitely just going to get this defensive tackle just to draft for position of need right now. Go ahead and add Victor Lowry to the team. He does have normal development as well. We're just filling in spots right now. We're not very concerned about the talent as much as we are just having a position that we need. I think I'm going to be considering getting this Max Harrison player out of Princeton. 22 years old, 6'2", 232. He's a pass coverage archetype, so his block shedding isn't going to be great. He has A, man coverage, and B, zone coverage, B, pursuit. Stamina's an F, though. That's kind of a concern, but we're in the 3rd round right now. It's not really a position of need, but it seems like the best option on the board. Everybody else has like C's to D's to F's, so I'm going to get Max Harrison, also not hidden development. Not a great look in this draft, but I think we're just pushing for another run at the Super Bowl and possibly not even facing the Cowboys in the playoffs. All right, and at the start of season 3 of the rebuild, CJ Stroud is still an 82 overall. Not the best look for our QB right now, but Alvin Kamara is an 87. T. Higgins and Chris Olave are still on our team. Our fullback, 77 overall. Offensive line looks decent right now. Pretty high overall from the left guard, if you didn't notice, but our defensive line looks pretty good. Shelvin is developing. Claxton is a superstar now. Marshawn Lattimore has not regressed at all, so no room for concern from him. Linebackers look great. Gary looks great. Jordan Battle is slightly developing. Wish I could have got a strong safety, but there just wasn't prospects that was worth it, and there also wasn't free agents that were worth it with the cap space that we had. So yeah, we can sim to the mid-season mark. Hopefully we perform well once again and make a push for the playoffs. And at the mid-season mark, we are 4-3, 1 win away from last season's spot. We have to take a look at the stats and see what's going on with the team. We are 5th in offensive yards. CJ Stroud is already almost at 2,000. And defensive yards, we are 23rd. CJ Stroud, basically 2,000 yards, 20 TDs, and only 4 interceptions. Not bad from our 3rd-year veteran now. Alvin Kamara has 653 yards and 4 TDs. Receiving, T. Higgins is still taking that wide receiver 1 role very seriously. 632 yards and 4 TDs. Chris Olave has 7 TDs, though, with 522 yards. Fant has not gotten the same output as he did in years past, but he is a tight end, so he just shows up when he needs to. Tremont Edmonds has the most tackles on the team. Ed Oliver already has 14 TFLs, and Nick Bosa has 13. Warner was a great re-signing because he got 8 and Claxton got 7 sacks. Nick Bosa has 7.5 and Claxton had 5. Josh Allen had 3.5. A pretty good outing right now in terms of defense. Marshawn Lattimore had 3 interceptions. Wow. Blue Kelly has 2 interceptions, and Marcus Peters has 2 as well. Pretty good overall from the team. We can take a look and see if anybody got any development traits in terms of maybe Jordan Battle or Claxton going up to a superstar X Factor since he was already a superstar. But on the offensive side, not much has changed at all. Basically the same on the offensive side. The defensive side, basically the same as well. Jordan Battle went up 1 overall. Claxton is still an 81, but he's a superstar. And I think the only position of concern right now is defensive tackle, but there's not much that we can do right now, but just hope that he ends up performing well. And yeah, we're just trying to push for the playoffs. We're 4-3, so that's kind of risky with the way that we ended the season last season. We can take a look at who is ready to negotiate 48 mil this offseason because we have some big players going into free agency. Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. Trevor Penning as well. Going to be a tough offseason. It's definitely going to be a tough offseason. I think I'm going to try to sign our big ones right now just to make sure that we get them. Definitely going to give him a player-friendly contract, 4 years. Basically what he wants. It's a little more than what he wants. He should accept it. That is exactly the offer that he was hoping for. And we get Chris Olave back for the future. Alvin Kamara does not seem too interested in coming back to us, but I don't think that he's going to be able to deny the contract that we're planning to give him in this player-friendly one. Happy to sign with the organization. We're just trying to keep our players right now. I understand that it's probably not a good idea since he is a running back and he'll start regressing, but I'll worry about that in the offseason. If I see a better running back in the draft, I'll trade Alvin Kamara in order to get him. But go ahead and go back to this. Marcus Peters, I think, will be more concerned about it in free agency. Trevor Penning is somebody that I would like to keep. I'll give him this offer for right now, and hopefully he takes it. It's exactly the offer that he wanted, so that's great for us. Marquez Callaway is another person I would just worry about in free agency. But other than that, we got all of our big players back, so we don't have to go into the playoffs with any stress right now. We just have to hope that we make the playoffs in general. So we just squeak into the playoffs with a 9-8 record. We got the wild card spot in this one. Let's go ahead and see what stats are showing right now. Offensive yards were 9th. CJ Stroud almost had 5,000 yards on the season, and defensive were 17th. CJ Stroud had a pretty good season, 4,749 yards, 40 TDs, and 9 interceptions on 67% completion. Not a bad season from him. Hopefully he keeps progressing. Alvin Kamara had 1,385 yards and 18 TDs. It's pretty good from the running back that we re-signed. Both of our star receivers were above 1,000 yards. 1,600 yards from T. Higgins and 1,100 from Chris Olave. T. Higgins had 14 TDs though, and Chris Olave had 9. Noah Fant picked it up, got 7 and 854. On the defensive side, Edmonds, once again, he is the middle linebacker, so he's going to be getting the most on the defense. Nick Bosa has 26 TFLs. Ed Oliver had 23. Claxton had 17. Warner had 15. And Josh Allen had 13. Never seen this much TFLs from a team in my life. Nick Bosa had 16 sacks on the season. Claxton had 9. Josh Allen had 9. And Ed Oliver had 7. An insane defensive effort. We just have to keep that momentum going into the playoffs. We squeaked in, and I think we can definitely make a push against these teams that we're facing. We just have to hope that we're able to beat the San Francisco 49ers and move on to the division championship. All right, and to start off the day, the San Francisco 49ers start off with the ball and make some big plays and go downfield and get the first touchdown of the day. The Saints were not able to do a single thing and have to punt it away. The 49ers also punt it. Hopefully we can pick up the offensive slack right now as Chris Olave gets a big gain. We're looking to get a touchdown right now. We're at the goal line, and we end up getting the touchdown and tying up the game right before the end of the first. The San Francisco 49ers are trying to get their lead back and end up getting a big play from Deebo Samuel. They get a penalty. 4th and 8, and they have to take the field goal. Chris Boswell making the field goal. We're making some big strides right now going downfield, and we're able to get a touchdown and take the lead by 4. Hopefully we can stop them on the defensive side just so they can't score, but they go downfield and get a touchdown of their own. They're up by 3 before the end of the half, but our Saints offense is moving downfield right before the end of it and are able to get a touchdown of their own. We're up by 4 once again. We're hoping that we can stop them before the half so we can get a touchdown to really put the dagger into it, and they have to punt it away right back to us with 30 seconds left on the clock, but they get the turnover, and it looks like they're going to be getting a touchdown before the half. Not a great look from our offense. We're trying to make strides downfield, but I don't think we're able to do it before the end of the half. Oh, we're at the 31 with 6 seconds on the clock, and we do get the field goal and tie up the game before the half. Now we get the ball to start off the second half, and we're going downfield with some rushing plays right now. We get some big passing plays, and we're able to get just a field goal, not a touchdown. Pretty disappointing, but we make them punt it right back to us, and we cannot do anything either. We still only have a 3-point lead, and the 49ers were not able to do anything either. It is a defensive game right now, and it is 4th and 5, and we punt it away once again, and the 49ers are trying to do something with the ball in the 4th quarter and lose big yardage right before they have to punt it away, and the Saints are 2nd and 20, get to 3rd and 9, 4th and inches, and they punt it away just to be safe with it. The 49ers, we're hoping that we can stop them. 3rd and 10, and we get a sack by Ed Oliver. A big sack. A very big sack. We're trying to chew clock, and we get a big reception by Marquez Callaway, somebody who is up for free agency this offseason that we could debate on if he's going to stay as our wide receiver 3. But we go downfield, we're chewing clock, and we end up winning the game. We did not want to risk getting the points and them going downfield, so we win by 3, 27-24 against a pretty competitive opponent. And I think that could be a statement for the rest of the playoffs. All right, and in the divisional, we are facing the team that blew us out last season. Micah Parsons is still on the Cowboys. They are 12-5. They have less of an overall than us, so we should be able to win this game. But I'm not putting anything past them because they did shut us out last season. We just have to be able to come today and be able to finish them off. All right, and the Saints do start off with the ball. We get a big gain on our first play, but we end up throwing an interception on the first drive. CJ Stroud gives up an interception, and they are not able to do anything with the ball, surprisingly. We are going downfield, and we get a sack and have to kick the field goal. We're punting it away. And we get our own interception with Pete Werner. We have to get a touchdown off of this. 4th and goal. It seems like we went for it and we're not able to convert. Punt it away. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. We got a safety. Wait, I completely missed that. I completely missed the safety. We're going downfield and we get another field goal. It is 8-0. That was an awkward scoring by any means. A punt to the 1 yard line by the Cowboys, and we simply cannot do anything at all whatsoever. The Cowboys get some big passing gains and are able to get their first touchdown of the day. 40 seconds left on the clock. We're looking to answer in some way, and we throw an interception. Of course we do, because why would CJ Stroud do anything competent right now? But they do not end up getting the lead before the half, but they do get the ball and are looking to do something with it. 3rd and 29, 4th and 29. Are they in field goal range? They are not. They punt it away back to us. We cannot do anything against this defense, though, at all. We cannot do a single thing, and the Cowboys are running the ball up our throat. And they get a touchdown. They extend the lead to 7. And we have to punt it away as well. This is not looking good right now. It's a pretty back and forth game in terms of defense, but we're able to get downfield. We're in field goal range right now. 2nd and 4, 1st and goal, and we do get a touchdown and tie up the game. Punt. I keep saying punt. We kick it off. The Cowboys have the ball. They keep getting large gains. Our cornerbacks seem to not be doing the job right now, and they get only a field goal. We need a touchdown in order to win the game. 4th and inches. And we punt it away with 3 minutes left on the clock. We give them a chance to actually do something with it, but they can't do anything with it. They punt it right back to us right before the 2-minute warning, and we get a 28-yard reception by Marquez Callaway. Another big reception by Marquez Callaway. CJ Stroud seems to have a favorite receiver because every single time it's to Marquez. We get a penalty by Ryan Ramczyk. And I think that knocks us out of field goal range. I'm not sure what down it is, but we get the touchdown? We completely missed the play. 22-18. They need a touchdown in order to win. We have to stop them before they get a touchdown. 1st and 10. And they end up turning it over. 22-18. The Saints are going to be your division champs. I was completely discombobulated throughout that whole thing, but we do end up winning 22-18 against the Dallas Cowboys, a team that shut us out last season, and now we move on to the NFC Championship. And in the NFC Conference Championship, we are facing another difficult opponent in the New York Giants. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but nobody said it was going to be this hard. They all have 11 wins or more this entire playoff run. Got to win one more in order to get to the Super Bowl, and hopefully that's what we're looking to do. And the Giants start off with the ball. 4th and 1, though, and they go for it on 4th and 1 and are able to convert. They end up throwing an interception to Blue Kelly, and that should help us a lot if we're able to convert on 3rd down now, and we are. We get a big passing play, but it's 2nd and 12, 3rd and 6, 4th and 6, and we have to punt it away. It is still 0-0. The Giants turn it over again back to us, but we're in field goal range, so we could possibly just get some points on the board, and we do, with Jake Moody making that 3-0. The Giants are trying to come downfield and do something with it, but it is 4th and 1 once again, and they end up punting it this time. They're not going for it. And we're trying to go downfield to extend the lead to maybe 10, hopefully. And we do. It is 10-0 in the second quarter. And the Giants are trying to go downfield, but are not able to get the first once again. We are looking to win this game, but it is 4th and 1, and we have to punt it away. Back to them. They get a loss, but they get that back and are able to go downfield and possibly get a touchdown. They settle for the field goal right before the half. We have 40 seconds to go downfield, and a 75-yard touchdown by Marquez Callaway helps us a lot right now. It is 17-3 with 30 seconds left on the clock. They're trying to go downfield and do something with it, and they end up getting a 41-yard touchdown and make it a touchdown game right now. But we get the ball, and we have to punt it away. The Giants have a chance to come back into this, but have to punt it away as well. The defenses are showing up right now. It is 17-10, and we are not able to do anything on 4th down. And Jake Moody's field goal gets blocked. That does not help us at all, but we do stop them on defense, and they punt it away to us. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, 4th and 1, and we punt it back to them. We're relying on our defense to show up right now. And we get an interception by Blue Kelly once again. We're going downfield and possibly getting another touchdown to extend the lead to 2 touchdowns, 14 points. And we get another interception by Tremont Edmonds. We're really just trying to chew clock right now. We get a field goal, and we kick it off to them. 4th and 2, and they're hardly able to do much, but they convert on 4th down, and they're going downfield pretty quickly right now with a big penalty, but they end up turning the ball over to us. 4th and 1. I think we're punting it, and we are. We're still up by 2 touchdowns, so that helps us tremendously right now with a minute left. It seems like it's all but over for the Giants, and we win 27-10 in the NFC Conference Championship, and we are moving on to the Super Bowl, hoping that we can finally get a championship with the Saints since Drew Brees got it. And here we are in the Super Bowl against the Las Vegas Raiders. Also 11-6. Almost every team that we faced has had the same record. We have a better overall team, so we should be able to come out on top. We just have to see if we can execute. The Saints do start off with the ball in the Super Bowl, and we're able to go downfield very periodically right now. And we do get the first touchdown of the day. 7-0. They get a big, 3 big passing plays by the Raiders offense right now, and they tie up the game 7-7. We get 3 and out by the Raiders defense, if I can speak correctly. An interception for a TD by Pete Warner. That was a big re-signing by us, because if we didn't do that, we would not have a pick 6 right now. But it is 14-7, and they're going downfield right now. They might be able to do something with it, but they turn the ball over. 3rd and 10, 4th and 10, and we're not able to do much with it at all on that turnover that we got. Some big plays by the Raiders offense, and they tie up the game 14-14. It is the second quarter. We're looking to do something with it. It's 4th and inches, and a penalty by the Raiders defense helps us get a fresh set of downs, and we are capitalizing on it right now. 3rd and 2, and we get another touchdown to extend the lead to 7. The Raiders offense seems to be going downfield, but they get stopped by us once again. 4th and 3, but CJ Stroud gets sacked by Nick Bennett. 3rd and 12, 4th and 9, we have to punt it back to them. They get a big passing play and seem to be able to go downfield. They only get a field goal, which probably does not help them much right now, but we should be able to get a field goal as well. 1st and 10. We get into field goal range. 18 seconds left on the clock. 3rd and 10. We get a big pass play by CJ Stroud and go for the field goal and make it and extend it to a 7-point lead. But the Raiders start off with the ball at halftime, and they turn it over on an interception. We're trying to do something with it, and we make the field goal once again. Jake Moody is showing up right now. The Raiders offense is going downfield periodically, get a big passing play, and get the touchdown. It is 27-24. We're up right now. We need a touchdown, and we end up getting it with Alvin Kamara on a 38-yard rush. He wants the Super Bowl as bad as anybody else on the team right now, but the Raiders offense is not giving up, but they have to punt it away to us. 4th and 10. We're semi going downfield right now, but we're not able to convert on third down, and we have to punt it back to them on a touchback. We're up by 10 in the fourth quarter, but we turned the ball over and get an 8-yard touchdown by T. Higgins, and the extra point is good. That just might be the dagger for the Raiders right now. They're trying to still be competitive, but it is 41-24, and they're 4th and 5 and turn the ball over once again. We're just chewing clock right now to the best of our ability. 3rd and 8, 4th and 7. We punt the ball to them with 30 seconds left on the clock. It does not seem like they're going to be able to have much of a chance, even with that touchdown that they just got. 41-31, and that is going to do it for the Saints rebuild. Your New Orleans Saints win their first Super Bowl since Drew Brees was the leading quarterback on the team. Some big signings, some big rookies came in and really elevated the team, and Alvin Kamara is still the running back. Still good as a running back. Las Vegas Raiders, the Super Bowl in Atlanta right now. Wow, that was an intense rebuild. The Super Bowl trophy going down to CJ Stroud. I don't know why CJ Stroud's on the field, but it should be handed off to him. I'm not even sure if he'll be getting Super Bowl MVP, but we'll definitely have to see right now at the end of the rebuild. And in our very last recap, Pete Warner wins Super Bowl MVP with the pick 6 that he was able to get. None of our players win the yearly awards, but we got the most important one, and Pete Warner, our re-signing last season, ends up panning out at right outside linebacker with that pick 6 that he got. But that is your Saints rebuild. It took about 3 years for us to get a championship, and I think we made some great acquisitions, and also maybe could be realistic. It just depends on their money situation and how they handle it these upcoming years. But if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. Let me know what other teams you want me to rebuild, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.